How you going, everybody? Just having a look at my potato patch here. They're starting to come up. Got them under a bit of straw here. Have a look at a little bit of green there. There's some there. There's a few over there too. So we've got a little bit of weeding to do. Bit of grass, but that's okay. And over here, we planted some spinach and lettuce on the end there. And we've realised, obviously, I've always known this, but I've just been reminded by the wonderful native birds and the wildlife around here that spinach is one of their most favourite little vegetables that they love to eat, because they've basically eaten it all to the ground. They're very much alive, but you'll see all the tops have been taken off there. So yep, I've got to set up another grow house here, cover them over to protect them from the birds so these little seedlings have a chance to grow. So that's one task I've got to do there. Another one that I've got to do here, on top of every other million items that I've got a list of in this garden, is clean the canker off these conifers, take this fence down and start looking after these espaliers we planted last year in winter. They're only a year old in the ground, sort of a makeshift espalier. If you haven't got the space to grow a normal sized tree, be it all a dwarf variety, let's say you've got a little courtyard in the backyard, 4 metres, 5 metres deep, about 7-8 metres wide, and you want to have your little patio area, sitting entertainment area, and you want your fruit trees at the same time, you could easily espalier them. Now this is 2 and a bit metres long. I think it's about 2.4, maybe a little bit less. And we've got one tree there. Now, if you've got 4 metres in depth, imagine that. You could put 2 trees on one side, and if you're 7 metres wide, you could put 3 across the back, or 2 across the back, 2 on the other side. That's already 6 trees minimum as espalier. So there's 6 fruit trees in your garden. You haven't lost any space. You can underplant, not with weeds like I've got here. I've got to take this fence down so we can brush cut in there and actually have access to these conifers because they're fenced on both sides. So don't judge me on that until we clean it up. What we've got here is the espalier, and what you can do, and we'll teach you this, and this is something I've been doing with Craig, and Craig's got a wonderful example of that. 7 or 8 varieties of fruit or apples on the one tree, and you can basically horizontal espalier. So this is called formal espalier. We've got them about 40 centimetres off the ground, the bottom one. There's nothing growing here at the moment, but we have got a shoot here. So that was already part of the tree's natural growth. So we've got a 30 centimetre spacing of horizontal bars. That's the average spacing you would have between one and the other. Then what you have is your buds or your growth coming out on either side. That's one here. Have a look at that. We're going to train this one across there. If it decides to grow properly and stretch out, that'd be great. We attempted to graft here. It didn't take. So we don't always succeed, but the tree is very kind about that, and it always reacts and recovers from it. So we haven't killed the tree. That will have to recover. We've got this one over here. Let's hope a bud from here or below starts to grow out, and we can actually espalier it across here. And that's what we call a formal espalier, and we're going to continue all the way up. Now, if you haven't pruned your trees and they're young trees, now's a great time to get out there. It's still not too late. You can see all the energy is at the tips here. So look at all this bud swell. This is all young growth. You can see how vibrant and alive all these branches are. Now, I don't want it to grow up there. I've got nice strong buds up here. Have a look at that up there. It's all showing good signs. Now, I need to take all this off because all the energy of this tree is going straight to the top. Obviously, the hottest spot of the tree where it gets the most sun there, more sun than down here. I'm going to take this off, and hopefully I can push some energy back down into the trunk and force some of these buds along the side of this stem here to grow out. And eventually I'll tie one that's perfectly to this line, tie it down, and we can train it again. So I'm going to put one more line up here, horizontal line, and these are the 2 branches I'm thinking I'm going to use. Or should I use that? Yeah, that one there, I reckon. That's a better one. So we get rid of this here. We get rid of this one here. We're going to keep those 2. We're going to get rid of that one there. We don't need that. We're going to get rid of that one. That's where our energy is. That's the top of my espalier. So I take the top of that off. Now all I need is another bar, horizontal bar, which I'll get one later on. Put it in place here, tie these down, and they will stay like that. After a couple of years, the tree will take that shape, and you can actually remove the entire framework, and it will be standard like that on its own. Take this little one away as well. Look at that. That's pushing out there perfect. Hopefully that will come into a nice long horizontal branch, which we can train along there. And once it gets to the end, you just snip it off. And then we'll get all these upright growths, which will train to become fruit-bearing spurs. So for now, let's just tie this one, and I'm recycling any string I have around the property. It's pointless buying string to tie things up if you've got so much of it in boxing. So we just cut that off. Tie that back to there. And if it's a thick branch and you can't lever it across in the first go, work your way slowly. After a while, the branch will start to give, and then you can go back and retension it, so get it closer and closer to the horizontal line that you want it to take shape of. Now we've got this bit here, see that's growing up. We don't want it to grow up, so we're going to tie that back down here as well. Like that there, a bit more string. And once that grows to the end, like I said, you just take the tip off that, you bring it back down. We can cut this down to about 2 or 3 buds, just like that there. Is all we need to do, and that's what we'll do with all the rest of them as they start to grow, and they'll end up becoming fruit-bearing spurs for us. So folks, if you haven't got enough space in your garden, why not espalier a tree just like that, and after 3 or 4 years you'll be harvesting fruit to enjoy with yourself and the family. Now I've got to go look after my spinach plants. The birds have destroyed it. Grow tunnel, a great little invention to protect your plants from insect and birds and even the animals. Have a look at them. Hey. Parece.